So our first anime confession comes from Germa42, who says, I, and in all capital letters, thoroughly enjoyed Boku no Piku. Boku no Piku, my apologies. Have you... I assume everyone's recommended you to watch Boku no Piku.
Yeah, well, actually, I had a conversation about it in the Discord server the other day, kind of just asking about, you know, because I get a lot of people saying, now you've got to watch this. And at first, I just thought it was just a normal series, but I've been told it's not.
So I fell for the watch Boku no Piku thing. No, nobody should willingly admit to enjoying Boku no Pico. It is did you ever find out what it was, or did you just steer away from that entirely?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people were kind enough not to tell me directly what it was, but what it involves. So maybe
kind of, yeah.
So maybe for like the people that don't know, how would you describe what you've witnessed?
It's a yaoi hentai, but it's a subset of yaoi, which I'm not going to say what it is because I think we'll just lose our channel if we do. It's Shotokan. You can look that up on your own and figure out what it is. But it doesn't... The joke here is that someone will recommend you to watch Boku no Pico, and you don't find out that it's really a hentai until about 10 minutes in.
It's a trap.
It's like the main character... Like, I fell for it so badly, too, because I was just watching it. I was like, this is a nice little slice of life show about like a little kid, and he's got like an older friend, and then there's a scene where they're eating ice cream in a car, and that's just where it all fucking
I've heard about the ice cream arc.
The ice cream arc. Yeah. That's just, you know, that's where it goes downhill. So this, right off to a strong start, you have to have a massive set of cojones to admit to thoroughly enjoying Boku no Pico.
Yeah, it's either that or this
even watched it.
It's either that or this is a troll kind of thing, and they just wanted to get us to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what I would be curious about is, obviously this was actually made, like money went into this. So who is this
there are
really
sequels.
for?
There are sequels. There's like 3 of them total or something like that. There are some sick people out there. Believe it.
And apparently there's enough of them to warrant sequels, you know, so
someone went, man, that was good, I need another one.
So I tell you what, guys, in the comments below, let us know, have you seen this series? What were your thoughts on it, and what was your reaction? And would you recommend it to a friend? Would you put them through it, you know, like, and how scarred are you? You know, just let us know down in the comments. Okay, so next we have Steve, and Steve says, I'm a grown man and I like to watch Shojo from time to time. I don't know if that's really a confession. I feel like
good on Steve. I think there's a lot of we've talked about this, I think, a few times, but like the weird pigeonholing that anime and manga fans do. It's like, I only read shonen because I'm a guy, or I only read seinen because I'm a guy. It's really stupid. Like there's good stuff from every demographic.
Absolutely, as well. Now I think some of like some of the core kind of foundations of shoujo are in some of like the big, like you look at like say something from like Your Name. I feel like that's kind of got a vibe of that. It's probably the most successful like anime movie ever, and that's I don't know if that you consider that as shoujo, but it gives me that kind of vibe.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But like I don't know, like I feel like you have to, if you just watch the same thing over and over again, I think you can find kind of enjoyment when you have something else time to time, you know?
No, exactly. I mean, also like if someone's gonna say, "Oh, you're watching something girly," and you're like over the age of 10, don't listen to them. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is there any shoujo that you've?
Oh, I have tons of shoujo and josei, more josei than shoujo, but one of my favorite like top 10 anime is a josei called Paradise Kiss, and it's nothing that I would usually watch, but I really enjoyed like the style of the anime, and it's just about a bunch of like college friends who make clothes.
I mean, that's the thing. Why do you think that there is a stigma against it? Do you think there is, or do you think it's just a minority being loud on the internet? Because that's what I think
it's just the minority being loud about it. I mean, people be like, "Oh, shoujo is stupid," and blah blah blah. It's like, how are you gonna write off an entire like chunk of a medium because it's targeted towards women? Like, it just makes no sense.
No, it's silly. So, Steve, I commend you, my dude. I don't think it's anything, you know, to be ashamed of, and I actually think probably more people could probably learn to check out other stuff. So, you know,
you like Steve.
Yeah.
So the next one comes from Zagrate, and they say, I genuinely love fan service in all genres of anime. I'm going to disagree with that one. I know it's a confession, so I should disagree with it. But
you can't tell the dude he's wrong. You know,
yeah, you're wrong. Your confession is wrong. No, good on you. I mean, fan service is obviously there because people enjoy it, but it is. I don't like it. It's not for me.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. For me personally, I just feel like it gets in the way of the enjoyment of the experience. But like you said, a lot of the time people want more out of a character, I suppose, and you know, if a show's willing to give it to that, you can see why it is in shows, because it's obviously quite something that a lot of, you know, people do enjoy. Yeah. Do you feel like, is there any particular series where you feel like it's overdone?
Not any particular series, but anytime there's like a beach episode, I like a good beach episode from time to time, but it's like you're like really enjoying a series and it's like a short 12 episode series. The story is great. It's only so long. But then you get to like episode 7 and they go to a beach and that's the whole episode. It's like, come on, what's the point of this? And it's like, I know what the point of this is. They're trying to sell like Blu-rays and figures and show off the characters in bikinis and that's the whole episode. But you know,
yeah, I
think it seems lazy to me.
It definitely feels like a business plan when you think about it. It's just it's just like we can make some figurines out of this and whatnot. But like, you know, like fair play. Like, you know, I don't like it, but apparently a lot of people do. Let us know down in the comments, you know, do you guys enjoy fan service? Do you find it annoying? You know, what are your thoughts on it? Or can you just kind of see past it? I mean, I think with anime, with tropes and stuff like that, you have a way of just kind of like, I don't know, blurring out for a couple of seconds.
There are some where there's some series where I think if it didn't have fan service, it'd be a little boring. Like High School of the Dead, I loved the fan service in that just because it was part of the show. Like it was so stupidly over the top. Like, you've watched High School of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
Where there's like, I think they're on the highway and he shoots the gun and the bullet goes between her boobs.
Boobs, yeah, and it's like swaying. But the thing is that's like a self-aware fan service, though, right?
Yeah,
so it's I think if it's done in that kind of way, then yeah. All right, so next we have Zoro Fan 2. They say, I have never been able to finish Death Note. I have watched the first 10 episodes 3 times. I'm really confused here, Zach. Like, I don't know what's happening here. So you've watched the first, you've watched 30 episodes of Death Note, is what you're saying, in total.
Which is like the length of the show, mind you, just keeping that in mind.
Yeah. I'm confused because if you had said I got halfway through the series and when after certain events happen, you know, like I fell off, I can actually understand that because, you know, that could be a creative taste, but like the show was, I felt like that was where it was really popping off, like really getting good.
Yeah, because that was like the tennis match episode, which was like when they start like really getting into that like light and L cat and mouse game of Death Note, and it was like, I don't get it.
I don't understand.
Good for you. I mean, good for you for giving it the old college try, but I don't get it.
Yeah, you gave it more than the 3 episode rule, but I just feel like if you've got up to nearly halfway through a series that has at that point built up at least some sort of like curiosity and like, you know, something's got to give, I don't know why you don't just stick with it. But Death Note's a controversial one. I know a lot of people don't like the way that it ended and stuff like that, but at that point in the series, I can't see any reason why you would stop. I wish they had said why. They just said, you know, I've never been able to finish it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, the funny thing too is, like, I know a lot of people don't like Misa Amane either, but I liked when she came in and kind of added that new dimension to like the story and the characters and all that. And the episode after the episode he drops off on is when that happens, and that's when I think the series actually really starts to get good, especially the anime. So it's like, if you gave it one more episode, you might be able to finish it. But
yeah, no, I agree. I think you bringing up Misa is a real big, it's a real big moment in the series, and I think it doesn't get a lot of credit because it adds on that element of control that he can't have all the time. He can't keep a control of her all the time as best as he tries. There's that threat of, I know that I can control what I have with L, but with her around, I've now got this extra thing. And it just amps everything up. And I actually think she's an awesome character later on with some of the stuff that she does. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think you go and you try Death Note again and start from episode 11 this time.
Give it a fourth go.
Yeah.
The next one comes from Taylor Reviews, and they say, I can't stand the art style of One Piece, which is why I haven't watched it. Petty, I know. Yeah, that's that word for word pretty much why I don't enjoy One Piece. I'm not a big fan of the art style. It's goofy, and I'm sure that's the appeal of it to many, but it seems overly goofy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think it's petty because I think an art style, especially if it's going to be 1,000 episodes, you got to be kind of on board with that shit, you know, like you've got to, I don't know, I get it. Like for me personally, like the art style looks a bit weird. Like I don't know what's up with the noses on the characters. And
the proportions on the women also, I'm sure some people enjoy that, confuse me.
The fact that the eyes go wider than some of the hips, you know, like it's just like, if you see anyone that looks like that, please take them to your nearest A&E. But like, I can understand it. I think there are series where, you know, art's a big part of it, right? Because it's, you know, there's some series, like one that I recently looked into was Psycho Pass, and like that I think it can be something that art can be so big that it can make you give a show a chance based on something that you might not have before, but it can also do the opposite. I've seen shows where I've seen when you go, it's not so great, but it's actually been a good series. But I think One Piece, with it being the biggest series as well, is, you know, cool that it's got its own like look, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like it in, I don't mind it in the manga as much. I think the anime seems a little bit different.
I mean, I haven't read much of the manga, but I think I if I were to give One Piece another try, I'd probably do it manga-wise, just because I feel it fits better in the manga.
And you save time, you know. So.
That too. Yeah, you don't have to sit here for 500 hours.
Okay, so next we have Elise Ortega, and they say, I've watched all of my favorite anime, either illegally or on YouTube.
Ooh. Before we get into that, we have to pay our respects here to the king of anime pirate websites, Kiss Anime, which is gone.
Yeah, gone. I mean, I don't know how people are going to deal with the lack of, you know, like dick pill stuff and, you know, the ads. And
I don't know where I'm going to go for the local MILFs in my area.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go now. Like, I'm outside going like, MILFs, where are you?
They're in your area, but you've got no way to connect to them now, you know.
That's exactly it. So that's gone.
Also, I mean, one thing that I will say is credit where it's due. If you can manage to watch an entire anime series on YouTube without going insane, I don't know how you do that, because the amount of...
You watching anime on YouTube was awful, because it was never a full episode. It was like part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 2 was always hard to find and either not subbed or subbed in Spanish. It was just the worst experience. Like, you have to be an actual masochist to like go, I'm gonna watch anime on YouTube today.
Or it would be like parts 1, 2, 3, but then like 4 would be copyrighted, 5 wouldn't have been uploaded, and then like whatnot, and it's always in like 240p. The anime like illegal thing is obviously a big deal, especially with like some of these sites going down. But I just feel like the anime fan doesn't have as much to worry about in terms of getting their fix anymore with the way that the internet's set up now.
No, and there's a lot of people who and I mean, I can see this argument for piracy, in that people are like, well, you know, it's preserving lost media, stuff like that, like old shows that aren't ever released anymore. But there's like new streaming services set up. There's one called Retro Crush now, which is literally like every week backfilling their catalog with like newer and like not newer, but like old shows, like old anime from like the 70s, 80s and onwards. So there's always, you can find something everywhere at some point, but it's not going to be everything. Like, it's not going to be perfect. So
what was your first illegal experience when it came to anime?
Oh, I downloaded an anime called Love Hina from LimeWire.
Oh shit, I was going to say LimeWire as well. That was mine. I downloaded I think it was Elfin Lied, I think it was. But I remember downloading it and then opening it, and it was it was in a folder, but then it had an MP3 of Bill Clinton talking in there about how he didn't sleep with Monica Lewinsky, and I was like,
oh, that's bad. It's like, I downloaded, it's like I got really into it, and I got to episode like 6 or 7 or something like that, and I downloaded it, and it was like, I was like 13. I was like not really up and up, but I open it, and it's like the first few minutes of it, and I guess the opening cuts off, and it's just like a guy in a tub shitting all over himself. It's like, why you know, I'm glad there's like all these streaming services that I never have to like play 50-50 roulette with that shit ever again. But
yeah, and the thing is, you didn't know what was going on to your computer at that time. But like we said, F in the chat for Kiss Anime, and yeah, I think Do you know what? I think that's not really. I know it's a confession technically, but I would be surprised that the vast majority probably aren't with you on that one as well in terms of how they watch their anime. But let us know down in the comments below. Like, how do you consume it? Do you pay for your stuff? And even if you do, how much of it are you watching?
What
illegally?
links should we avoid?
Yes.
So the next one comes from Statue, or 5Tattoo rather. They say, I skipped most of anime openings when I binge watched them. No.
Don't ever
don't.
No, do you know what I will say? And I think this is one thing that I don't like about Netflix, and I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, is the skip intro button.
Oh, it's so stupid. Get out of there.
It's just like, people might have skipped it beforehand, but now they almost definitely will because that button is there. And it's just like, some of the openings are just so damn good.
I don't know if I just imagine this, but have you ever binge watched an anime on Netflix or like a show, and it just like the next episode, it cuts past the intro, like just jumps right into the episode? Fucking hate when it does that, because it always like cuts past, like there's always like a little bit of preamble before the opening. And also when it's like it gets to the ending theme of an anime on Netflix, it's just like, hey, you want to watch this now? It's like, I'm in the middle of this. I'm not done this yet.
It'll be like, it'll start timing out 5 seconds. You're like, bro, I'm trying to watch this shit. Like, you can actually see the bar going away and you're like, bro. But I mean,
like, it's
I guess, I mean, maybe if you're like watching a series that has 1 million episodes or whatever and it's the same shit, but I don't know, man. Like, there are some certain series you can't be skipping. You can't be skipping that. But I don't know, maybe that's culture nowadays. I don't know, but
yeah.
I mean, do you do that with endings as well? Like, is there one that you're more
I don't really ever watch endings. I only ever watch openings. If I ever get to an ending, I'm just like, that's it. That's the episode. That's just letting me know the episode's over. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, controversial one, guys. Let us know in the comments. Do you skip openings? If you do, why do you think that it is? And are there certain series that you only skip, or are there ones that you have a special place where you go, do you know what? This is some me time. I'm gonna watch this one. Let us know.
Where would your channel be if you skipped openings?
It wouldn't be.
It'd just be like 2-minute videos. It's like, all right, and we're getting into the opening. All right, guys, that's the chant. That's the video.
That's it. You come on to watch me click the skip intro button, and then I bounce. All right, so next we have Glitch Traps, and they say, I enjoy watching filler episodes.
It depends, really. Especially in long-running shonen, like Naruto fillers some of them are hit or miss. A lot of them are complete garbage. Some are okay. Bleach had a couple of good filler arcs. I imagine One Piece probably has a metric fuck ton of filler arcs. I
actually believe that they don't have filler. I think, do you know what?
There would have to be, I think. Unless there's like it's long running. It's got so many chapters. They probably have enough content. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? But I think you make a good point. Like some series, like even like I've been watching Dragon Ball Kai, and like I'm loving that shit.
That's where they took Dragon Ball Z and they just got rid of all the fillers.
Yeah, it's just like straight up. And I actually saw in our Discord as well that they're bringing out another Blu-ray set of Dragon Ball Z because it's needed apparently, because they keep screwing up each release apparently. But I think, you know, filler has its place, but I don't know, like how do you, because some people, like, this is something I get a lot. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a big, that Full Metal Alchemist original 2003 one, I think it is. Obviously that went away and became anime only, didn't it? So it was its own thing.
Because that was the original anime aired when the manga wasn't finished, so they like adapted into like a full 52 episode thing, but didn't have the manga wasn't anywhere close to ending. So an anime does this a lot. Like if they're adapting something and it's like long, like Soul Eater did it as well, where they just like ended it with its own original ending. But you know, with Full Metal Alchemist specifically, like the way that they went about it, the original ending for the 2003 anime was actually pretty decent. I don't remember what it was. I just remember really enjoying it. Just I don't know. There's always this weird thing that people have about like canon versus filler, and there are people who just misrepresent things as filler just because they think it's boring or doesn't add to a story. But I don't know. Like my favorite use case of like fillers, most recently is Black Clover. So they've like finally caught up to where the manga's at, and they're like, okay, well, we need to do this specific, like we need to kill time so there's more manga to come out. And they came up with like filler, but the filler what happens in the filler is technically canon and relates to the actual story itself. Like, it's not this self-contained story that's like smack dab in the middle of a series where you're just waiting for it to fucking end, like with Naruto and stuff. So and it has, like, I think the creator Yuki Tabata actually had input on it as well, so it's like it fits in the story. It's not like out of place or anything, but not a lot of anime does that. And
that's got to be the way it's got to be done, right? At least have some sort of, like, you have to have, like, I think that's actually even, that's more respectful as well. You're going to get the creators involved and say, like, you're aware. I mean, they know when they sign off on the anime that this point is going to come eventually. They know, they don't. So if you say, when we get to that point, are you in? And they're like, yeah. And then we can kind of, you know, make something really, really good. I think, you know, integrate it so that it's kind of like canon filler kind of thing, you know, so it's a little bit of both. All right, so those are the confessions that we've got, guys. They were good. I'm glad you guys have come out and said your pieces. I think we're going to do this every week now, so if you guys want to see this as well as the hot takes, which we're going to come on to in a little bit, you know, make sure you keep an eye on all of our social medias as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, check over on our Twitter, our Discord and stuff like that, so that you guys can get your confessions over.